What are cards? How are they different from items? And am I playing Hearthstone in my MOBA? Hank from Toa Gaming here, and I'm going to cover cards in the deck builder in Paragon. So, what are cards? For all intents and purposes, they are items from other MOBAs, customizable stat buffs that greatly increase your power over the course of a match, as well as usable potions, wards, and other effects. At the beginning of each match, you select which deck you want to use, and purchase cards over the course of the match using your earned card experience. Cards are different from items in League of Legends or Dota in three major ways. First, in other MOBAs, the entire item shop is available to you in each game. In Paragon, you can only purchase cards which are in your deck. You do not draw cards like a card game. Your whole deck is available immediately. Second, Paragon's cards don't use recipes or upgrade to stronger items. Instead, equipment cards have upgrade slots, into which you purchase upgrade cards. And third, cards are randomly earned through card packs. Card packs contain 5 cards each, and can be earned several ways. First, you can buy a pack using Renown, an in-game currency that can only be earned by playing matches. You can also earn card packs from player levels and hero levels, which level up from experience points earned after each match. Player levels earn all experience points, while each individual hero levels up in matches in which you play that hero. Now I'm going to go over the deck builder system itself. Okay guys, now I'm actually recording this as I play the game so I can show how the deck builder works. First, to access it, you have to go to Profile. If you look at your overview, you'll have to be level 5 before you can do it. So once you hit level 5, it'll open up this decks thing, and you'll have a few slots. Currently I have 8? Yes, that's 8 slots. It shows you right down here, deck slots used, and 8. And you can buy more slots, but generally I don't think it's an issue. And one thing to know, when you build a deck, it is for a hero. So when you hit new deck, the first thing it's going to do is ask you to select a hero. Before you do that, I suggest you go look at the heroes, and whoever you want to build a deck for, let's say Twin Blast, go look at their abilities, and once this loads, mouse over and check to see if it says physical damage or energy. If it says physical or energy, that's what you need to remember, because unfortunately currently the deck system doesn't tell you that when you're building a deck, and that's something I hope they do fix at a certain point. So now you hit new deck, you select the hero you want, you can name it whatever you like. I'm just going to keep it at that. If you'd like to copy cards from one of the 2 starter decks or from another deck you built, you can do that here. I'm going to build a deck now, just from the base empty, just to show how it works. Hit save. It'll bring up this. Now as you can see over here, you have 0 cards. Up here, these are the affinities, these 2 red diamonds. Now if we go back to heroes, you don't see those 2 red diamonds or any other colors. To check that, you have to go to play, and then you'll see here that each character has 2 of these diamonds. For most characters, they're of 2 different colors, but for some, they're of the same 2. These are your affinities, and these determine what kind of cards you can use. So for instance, if you have a green card, you can't use it on Twin Blast. Just like if you have a red card, you can't use it on Muriel. Those are the affinities. It's not something well explained in the game right now, but it's just something you need to understand when you have cards, so you don't wonder why you can't see the cards you opened in your pack. It's probably because they're not of the right affinity. So, I want to talk about some of the filter options next. Up here you can see all, prime, equipment, and upgrade. Prime, you only get 1 in your deck, but you definitely want to select it, otherwise the orb prime buff does nothing. Basically, do you want more health, or do you want more damage, depending on which kind of damage you do? I like using the health on a lot of people when I'm solo queue, because I don't trust team fights to go that well, or for people to peel off of me. And I just like having the extra health, plus you do get the damage bonus. But it doesn't matter if you want to select this. There is also the passive aura to minions, but that is another thing that helps out a lot, but it's maybe not what you want to focus on. Whatever it is, make sure to either select the one that adds damage for your type, or Centurion if you just want more health. In this case, since we are building a carry, I'm going to take that one to show off. Now if we go to equipment and upgrades, here's the difference. Equipment are cards you put upgrades into. You can see the holes down here. While upgrades you can't select on their own. They can only be slotted into a card. There are a few active cards, which you can see by the word active underneath. Most cards are passive, but the active ones are ones where you can throw down wards or use potions and stuff. So up here is a filter button, and this is currently all the filter options. You can look at only physical damage, which is something you would do a lot if you were building a deck for Twin Blast. As you can see up here, because I had selected equipment before I went to the filter, it filtered only equipment cards with physical damage. Now if you turned all that off and you were at all, if you did physical damage, it would also show upgrades and prime cards. So if you want to look for an equipment card, you want to make sure you select that first before going to the filter. And then you can filter by any of these things. You can even filter by multiple things, such as physical damage and attack speed. Oh, there's the Wind Carver Blade. Or, you know, max health and armor. Oh, there's the Tempered Plate. So it can help you really filter down to see what you want to see. Now, how do you build a deck? This is a little overwhelming for a player that's never used the deck builder system before, and I was one of those people. I'm going to show you my technique to build a full deck. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not even saying it's good. I'm not sure about that. But it helps lead me to actually having a full deck with enough cards as well as the right upgrades so that I don't run out of card points before I fill up all my cards. So the first thing I do is I always select my prime. Then I take a health potion, the mana potion, the harvester's key, and the scout ward. Every game I'm probably going to start with both the health potion and the mana potion, and then just depending on what I see, I'll either take the key or the ward. If all my allies take a key, then I'll take the ward. If the enemy doesn't have a lot of people that like to run around and gank, and my team doesn't have enough keys, then I'll take a key to make sure we get harvesters. After that, it's time to actually select cards. Now, you can have up to 6 cards in game. So that's the idea. We want to get to a final build of 6 cards, costing 60 total points. So he is a physical damage guy, so I highlight the physical damage filter so I can just look through this. Now, there are several cards and they all have different things. Some are very similar. These two are similar and they both give health and damage. It's just that one gives more health when it's fully upgraded and the other gives more damage. So I'm going to select a card that I want to use, in this case Wind Carver Blade. I like the attack speed. I always think it's a good first buy because you gain damage and you gain more reliable ability to last hit because you're not waiting on your attack cooldown to come by. Then, if you want to look up upgrades just for this card, because you can go here and like find the upgrades, like, okay, could probably take kinetic. No. Click this, then click filter by. Now this is an important thing I didn't note earlier. Cards can only be upgraded with stats in which the card already has. So Wind Carver Blade has physical damage and attack speed. That means I can only give it physical damage and attack speed. I can't put crit bonus, I can't put crit chance, I can't put lifesteal on it. Only those two. And that's how you know which card gets what upgrade. Now, again, like I said earlier, there are 60 total points at the end of the game. If you have 6 cards and you do want to complete a card, because it's better than not completing cards, because you get the extra bonus, that means you have about 10 points per card. Now, since currently most cards cost 3, that means you have 7 points you can guess to spend on upgrades. So that's how I figure it. So I take 1 3 and 2 2s. And that's just how I build a deck. So then I go select the next item I want to take, such as this one with the crit chance. Go back, click on it, click filter by. Now I'll select my cards again. I'll take more crit, and 3, 2, 2 equals 7 plus 3 is 10. So now I'm up to 20 points of an end-game build on 2 cards. So I'm right on the way. Physical damage. So, and that's just what you do. You pick the cards you want, and you select the upgrades you want from them. That way you know. So I'm going to go through quickly and finish my 6 items that I think I would want to use. Impact Hammer. Get a lot of crit. I do like crit. I'm actually going to take another Wind Carver Blade. So you can see here it says ×2. It doesn't get an own slot. So then we'll do that. Equipment. So now I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards. So I'm going to take one more. I typically like to get some health, just so I don't melt. Okay, so once you're done and you've selected all your cards, you'll probably end up around this number, 29 out of 40. So what do you do with the other 11 slots? Those are what I like to call tech cards. A tech card in an actual card game is a situational card you put in your deck just to help you when certain opponent archetypes come up. So I like using the term, I like lingo, I call them tech cards. So in this case, my tech card is, well, what if I want to add lifesteal? Okay, I'll add some lifesteal then. Well, I'm going to do this just the same way. Because I took 2 of these, I'm only got 1 of these. I still like to balance it like that, just to make sure. Alternatively, because you did take another card, now I have 7, you don't have to take upgrades if it already has upgrades you can use. You just figure, okay, this is going to replace, say this, the impact hammer, so I'll just use whatever upgrades I used for it on this. So I'd only have to take 1, because I believe I took 2 upgrades at a crit chance. Since this one doesn't have physical damage, I can't use the upgrade I used for this, but I could use the rest of them, the crits in here. Okay, what if I just need even more health? Because I did take 1 of these, but what if that is not enough? Okay, well, I could always take the Adamant Edge. In that case, because I want more health, I'll take a couple of extra healths. Now, it has strikes, and I'm sure if I were to take it, I'd be replacing in front of something else, so I'd have a strike. I don't need to add that on. So what about armor? What if I want to take armor because I'm playing against a team that just has a whole bunch of 1 type, right? Then we'll do that. Oh, I'm out of health. So anyways, now I'm at 39 of 40. If you get to the last couple and you don't have any more cards you want to take, let's say like I didn't actually want to take Tempered Plate. So we'll remove the guards too. Okay, what do I do with these last 3 slots? Maybe one thing is just to take a few extra upgrades that you would already have. And the idea behind that is that because cards in the game can be exchanged, you can churn them in for the full points value. Maybe you took a card, like say you didn't take Amulet of the Veteran at the beginning, and then later in the game you're like, man, I really need health. So you trade in another card so you can take the Amulet, okay? Well, you lost out on the upgrades that are in the card you traded in. So taking a few extra upgrades is never a bad thing, if only because you can't be sure of how many points you're going to have to spend on each card, because you might exchange. And that way it just gives you some flexibility. Because if you only had enough upgrades for your 6 cards or your 7 cards, if you turn a card in, you're going to lose out, and you might not have enough upgrades to put in. And so that's how I like to do it. So now you can see I'm at 40 cards. I have a full deck. When I go into game now, I will be able to select this deck as opposed to one of the 2 starter decks, and I'll be able to play with it and select it as I go. The game doesn't have any way of you tracking. I wish you could actually put the upgrades into slots like you can remember so that the game helps you. But as it is, that's how the card builder currently works. If you have any questions about this in particular, please put it in the chat. I believe I've done a pretty decent job covering the card system, so that's going to end it. My name's Hank from The Only Allies Are Enemies Gaming. If you liked the video, please hit like, subscribe. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Let me know why. It's been a joy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.